And we're live. Hey, Sammy, it's so good to have you here today.
Thanks,
Well, for
Sharon,
those
for
of you,
having me.
absolutely. I am, so I'm going to be selfish. I want to know what you're saying today because, as you know, my backstory as a recent survivor, exercise is a really important part for me too, in just all the benefits that we know about. But I'm here to learn today. So I know, Sammy, you are the founder of Cancer Wellness for Life. And
Mhm.
so I know you've dedicated a lot of your time talking about wellness and diet and nutrition. So we are here to learn today, and to you said you have a little surprise for us too. So we'll wait until the end for that. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you're gonna let us know what do we need to know, because an interesting thing that you said was it's wellness before, during, and after a diagnosis. And so
Absolutely.
I'm going to turn the
And
floor over to you.
thank you. And thanks for having me. And I actually think we'll take wellness generally, and then we're going to really dive into exercise because I think one thing that we struggle with as a society, it's like if we get too general, then people wonder, as I do, what should I do? So we'll
Mhm.
actually leave that part for the very end that you guys can participate. But let's talk about wellness. So my career spans 20 years in oncology exercise under kind of wellness and lifestyle medicine. Wellness simply is this: it is proactive, ongoing strategies to live your best life. So it could be everything from nutrition, exercise, mental health. It could be doing things you enjoy, learning, connecting socially, whatever it is that means your best life. I think it's really important that cancer survivors, whether they're at diagnosis, and I'm thinking the general criteria of cancer survivors, anyone diagnosed with cancer who's alive in my world is a cancer survivor, any stage type. For cancer survivors, wellness can be definitely important for cancer because we know that it is really helpful for treatment side effects and survival. But at the
Mhm.
same time, you don't want to be the person that's like, guess what? Now I have cancer and that's my new identity. It can
Right.
be addition to, but I think it's, definitely different. For today, we're going to talk about exercise, which is planned physical activity that has a goal based outcome, because we know through research it is one of the key pieces for survival.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're touching on this because one of the things that I talk about a lot with my own journey is the introduction that I was given to an integrative oncologist, right? That whole integrative
Mhm.
side, which I felt was a true value add for me. And a lot of cancer patients aren't exposed to that side of of treatment, but for me it was a lifesaver because it made me feel normal, right? So when I spoke with this doctor and she gave me an exercise plan, a diet plan, meditation plan if I want to, yoga plan. It made me feel like, okay, I don't have to be defined by this thing. I was a person who was always active before. And so I
Mhm.
felt like I had the permission to take my health up to that next level with what I eat, how I move. So I'm glad for for companies like yours that really narrow in on this message, because I think that more people need to know it. And unfortunately,
Absolutely.
in our space, there's not a lot enough knowledge out there. So I'm glad you're here.
Well, and we know that like the evidence has evolved. When I started my career 20 years ago, we would have never told someone in treatment to exercise,
Right.
much less someone with metastatic disease or, prepping for surgery. So the evidence has really reiterated that. We've published just last May of 2022, new guidelines with ASCO on exercise, diet, and nutrition during treatment of curative intent. And we took into play some evidence also even on metastatic cancer. But what we reiterated was the number one recommendation is patients during treatment should be exercising and striving to meet exercise recommendations. But I
Awesome.
think, people don't know how. I want to come back to your comment about integrative medicine because I do think, although one of the most vital components for cancer care is really a barrier for the masses due to a lot of constraints related to financial and access. And while we hope that that will change, exercise and movement is free
That's
and can
true.
be done from anywhere. And I think that we miss that. We
Yes.
miss the simplicity of moving in your kitchen and doing countertop push-ups, or doing things that are active, and why we're gonna practice some of that today, because guess what? We all have access to it. It is free. It is
Yes.
totally available to us here in the moment.
This is the
So
reason why I love total health
I think that's
education.
important to mention.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you said that too, Sami, because you're right. Where integrative oncology it's going to be a cost to it. You're right. This is free. And one of the reasons why I love what we do is because we bring this information for free to people. And I know I'm going to be hitting you up to do a blog on our website that we're launching soon on the education space, just on the wellness piece, because like I said, it's free and it's just a matter of educating the masses. So, all right, so I'm going to let you, I'm going to also put some questions up here, but, just so that we can see it as we go along. But yeah, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, one of the things that we also are really changing is that, we're questioning, like, what kinds of exercise should I do? I'm a breast cancer survivor, I'm a colon cancer survivor. And I don't think that we know from science, or we ever will know, that guess what? There's an exact breast cancer exercise plan, because cancer types are different, but people are different. And we need to be mindful of making sure that we're helping everyone. I mean, every adult in the United States should strive to meet the same exercise recommendations. We've just pulled cancer into this as of recent. That
Awesome.
is for all of us. 30 minutes of moderate physical activity around 5 days a week. You can roll that through multiple times during the day. You can break it down to 7 days a week for 20 minutes. But, and most importantly, that strength training is to be included for all of us. Only 25% of adults in the United States are meeting these recommendations. 25% of all adults. That number is lower in cancer survivors, and that is because of that lack of strength training. Well, this question that I see here, strength training or cardio best for breast cancer. So here's the thing, both best. I always tell people prioritize strength over
Really?
cardio. Absolutely. Because guess what? When you have a hormonally based cancer, or you're sedentary during treatment, or you have to recover from a surgery, you're inactive. When you're inactive, undergoing treatment and medications, your body loses muscle because it's too busy trying to heal. So strength training is actually one of the biggest priorities. It makes a bigger difference in things like diabetes, and actually cardiovascular disease, and mental health.
Wow.
So are both, yes, I want everyone to meet all those recommendations, but I think when we're starting, let's prioritize. So let's say strength training. Let's start with strength training.
Okay, so tell us then, because I'm going to be honest, guilty as charged, because
Did you
I
lose
walk,
me?
I said, I'm guilty. I walk 5 to 6 days a week, right? I do the cardio, but I'm not lifting weights. So, and I think it's a good question that Peter asked, because I think when you think of maybe like a breast surgery, I think I don't want to move my arm. I don't want to do anything right here. So clear this up for us. What are your recommendations? In other words, should I be lifting 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or lift as I can? What is your recommendation?
So I'm going to dispel the myth first. I will tell you something, that we are so worried sometimes that we're going to hurt something. I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, you're not going to damage anything, right? By doing movement, you're actually going to help healing, etc. So we definitely need to start moving after physician clearance or surgeon clearance, of
Yes.
course. Where do I start? Simple. Start with body weight. You can start to add load, but I think body weight is good. Get used to how your body feels. You might have nerves regenerating. So for a lot of my breast cancer survivors specifically, I have them start with countertop push-ups. I don't really love wall push-ups because the angle can be hard on the wrist and the neck, but countertop push-ups in your kitchen are great to do and really simple to do. That's a really simple, effective exercise that all of us can do. Just start with 10. Any of us can do that. You get your core and your lower body working, especially if you squeeze your butt. Squeeze
So
the butt.
is that where you press your hands down on the counter and just do this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
Press
think I
up.
can do that.
Yep.
I think I can handle that.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So you start with that, like
Definitely.
10 of that per day to start. Okay. And
Agreed. Start
how do
there.
we graduate up? How do we graduate up?
So, through exercises, we want to build up endurance, or intensity. So as an example, if you're doing a countertop push-up, you can hold the bottom for a second, right? Make it a little bit more engaging for your muscles. You can add more volume. You can go a little bit lower to maybe like a table that's sturdy or the edge of the couch or whatever that may be. So we can progress intensity, or we can lift weights. We can use bands. That makes no difference. But I think it's important to realize, take a look around you and think, what do I have access to right now in that moment? You don't have to go to the gym. You don't even have to pop on a YouTube video. Just walk over to your kitchen counter and try 10 countertop push-ups. And I encourage those of you that, join this live or after, post your comments. You'll be surprised at how challenging they are, just right there in the countertop of your home. So I think it's actually going to be really helpful. We're going to do an exercise, what I call snack. Who doesn't love to snack? Me too. But I think we forget how much we can move right into the aspect of like our lives, right? So we're going to do a few snacks here today. First thing that I want everybody to do, because we're on our computer, squeeze your shoulder blades back, right? So sit up really tall, pull your belly button in, squeeze your shoulder blades back, and then relax. And then squeeze your shoulder blades back. Now, as you squeeze, I want you to flex your booty. So squeeze those butt cheeks you're sitting on. You're going to feel your pelvis lift up, your shoulder blades come back. And all of a sudden, you're going to notice that my posture is better. I'm feeling those muscles. If you've been in your computer, this may feel a little like uncomfortable. I can tell when I've been on my computer in my neck. Now from here, I just want you to actually do a chair march. I'm going to back up for a second if I can. Okay. But if you can see me upright, I'm just going to I'm going to shift my computer so you can see me. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a chair march. So I'm actually picking up my knees. Right? I can do this in a meeting, maybe only my legs if I'm on upper body video. But right now I'm actually just moving. If you want to do the standing, you can. Really simple overall. Now let's go ahead and add our shoulders. Let's take our arms here, 90 degrees, and press overhead and back down, still pulling those shoulder blades back that we already did. So all I'm doing is just adding what I call an exercise snack. I really encourage people every hour to try to do 1 minute of movement, doing a lot of strengthening. Walking is good, but strengthening will help manage your blood sugar. It'll actually produce more mental benefit and help your focus overall. Okay?
This is Sami, I have to tell you, this is liberating for me because when I miss my walks, I feel disappointed that I didn't walk today. Yeah. Meanwhile, I could be doing all of this, right? And getting the even more benefits because I feel like you're almost favoring the strength training over the cardio, just based on just how you're describing it. So now this is liberating for me because I live in the winter climate right now. And so it's not always conducive to walking. But now I can do all this stuff here. And it's just good to know. And I'm hoping it's liberating for other patients, not just cancer patients, but like you mentioned, diabetes, heart patients. I mean, this is just wellness. So this is good stuff.
Definitely. Thank you.
There's a question here from Andy. What about from a preventative standpoint? Is there any correlation between exercise and level of risk for cancer?
Yep, question, absolutely. Andy. Great question. So we actually know that exercise and meeting exercise recommendations, avoiding physical inactivity is a recommendation for cancer prevention, specifically the obesity-related disease types. We just have most literature there, but for all of us. We know that it's likely to prevent cancer and chronic disease. This is studied and produced largely by organizations like AICR, WCRF, as well as the American Cancer Society. And we can add some links in the show notes to those really great resources that are out there reiterating, not only physical activity, but also exercise. And for everybody on here, whatever you can do to strive to meet those exercise recommendations. Individuals and adults that meet exercise recommendations reduce the risk of dying from all diseases by 40%. In cancer, it's 46%. So guess what? We know that it can really make a difference in how we live, quality and length of life.
Sami, are you going to be able to post the recommendations in our chat later on? Okay, so guys, look in the comments later on. I want to get a link to that. I want to get that out there. And like I said, I'm going to convince Sami to be a blogger on our new education site so we can have her expertise. And as Sarah said, you're going to be welcome here on our show at least once per month to give us the latest updates and some exercise tips. So we try to keep the show 10 minutes,
Awesome.
10 to 15 minutes. We loved having you. I'm telling you, you liberated me today. So I'm going to be going into my kitchen and doing some push-ups when we're done. Let me just take one last comment. Wellness doesn't have to be overwhelming. Love that Sami Mansfield is here sharing tips and strategies. We love you. And Sarah, we love you too. And so we'll have Sarah on our next show. Sami, thank you so much for stopping by. We learned a lot, and we can't wait to hear more from you. So take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.